Hello guys, and welcome back to Civilization 5, playing as England and hopefully heading towards a domination victory. We are almost at the point where we can actually start doing some damage to some of the other civilizations. I'm a little bit worried that my culture progression is getting a little bit behind. It's quite easy to dig yourself into a hole in Civilization 5. Don't want to open borders with you. Where you can get to a point where you just stall your production of something or stall your economy and you just have no way of climbing back out of that hole. Hopefully it's not going to come to that. I think it's always going to be a bit of a stalled start on this particular game until we get to a point where we have ourselves some decent boats, which it won't be long before we get. We're going to get our caravel soon because we are a turn away from completing astronomy. London has now finished its opera house, which gives us a little bit of extra culture. That is something that is certainly needed. So I think probably the best thing to do for the moment in London would be, let's get another cargo ship built and try and get ourselves some money in where we can. Now, I'm in the process of moving these longbowmen back to Edinburgh because there seems to be a lot of pirate boats around here, so I'm going to try and use these longbowmen to actually deal with those. I'm also going to attack the other trireme here. Now, they are taking more damage than us, so it's a little bit of a pain. We can always pop this trireme back into Edinburgh's borders and get it healed up a little. This cargo ship here in London needs something to do. I'm not sure if this is one of the new ones or one of the ones that we were using before. So let's just sort by highest gold and see what we could get from this. So we could send food to York, but I think York's quite self-sustainable at the moment. Now, we get a decent amount of gold from Berlin. We'd also be getting science back from them because they are still scientifically ahead of us. Now, we will be getting some pressure back from their religion, but we'd also be putting some of our pressure on them, which is not a bad trade. So I think we're going to trade with Berlin. Now, do I still have my spy in Berlin? Yes, I do. Now, obviously, this is going to progressively annoy Germany more and more, though I don't think they've got a particularly big army, so there's not really an awful lot they can do. If we just look at the demographics, they are still at the very bottom with soldiers. I mean, we're not much above them, but the point is, if he declares war on me, by the time he can get any units across, I can build some defensive units and pretty much ping all of his boats out of the water, which is one of the advantages of these particular types of map. So let's go ahead with the next turn. We're currently building another opera house in Edinburgh. That will help with culture there as well. We're going to try and use this great profit to get our religion in Edinburgh. We're also going to try and go for Kathmandu and Nottingham as well. Oh, look at that. We have a Mongolian city that has popped up down here. Now, that's not very nice of them, is it? That's going to be tricky to take out, but not impossible. So we will definitely be dealing with that shortly. We don't want them to grow too big. Although saying that, they are currently at the bottom of the scoreboard, so they're not doing that well. Now, we have astronomy, which means we could go straight into navigation, which would give us our boats, which is probably what we should be looking at doing. Although we could go for printing press, which would give us zoos for happiness. I think, though, I need to get the boats going. So we'll go for navigation, and then while we're building ships, we'll then be researching printing press. So we're going to go for that, then we'll go into printing press afterwards. So what have we got? You guys have now healed up. We're going to bring you back over here because you may well have to deal with the Mongolians at some point. Let's have a quick look around, see if we can find where that pirate boat went. We have enough movement to take it out, so let's do that. We've just found ourselves a little barbarian encampment, so we know we can go and deal with that. So let's get these guys moved across. Please don't go through the water. Okay, what have we got? We've got workers here. You're going to build a pasture. We may well have to get ourselves some catapults so we can deal with this place. Again, it's not really a city worth having because the only thing it's really got access to is marble. And I think what I would be tempted to do is actually destroy the city as opposed to capturing it. So if we get that, we will raise it to the ground. So let's go straight into the next turn. And this may well be a land attack. There's quite a few hills and things around though, which aren't particularly good news. But we could certainly build a few catapults and get them over onto this piece of land. Okay, unit promotion. We have a promotion to this caravel. We are going... trireme even. We are going to give it... I think we're going to give it extra visibility because we are using it to scout. We're also going to bring it home and get it healed. We've once again managed to steal another technology from Germany. So let's go for architecture. Get that straight away. We've completed production at Edinburgh. We could attempt to go for the Taj Mahal. Somebody's probably already building it though, knowing our luck. What we could do here, of course, is we could go for a university, which would give us a bit of additional science. So let's go for that. And you can, in fact... we can upgrade you to a caravel. So let's do that. And then let's go on to the next turn. Okay, so let's use our great profit and we will spread religion to Edinburgh. Should be enough. Not quite, because the city's 10 and we've only managed to get 4 followers. Although it's not the end of the world, because at least the religion is there now and that will give it a bit of a boost. So I could pop them again to get our religion established in Edinburgh, but I'm actually going to move them across and get Nottingham sorted out. It's probably the easiest way of doing things. So I did sell all of my catapults and everything, but there again there was a reason for that. It was pretty much going to be a waste. So we've met Zanzibar. We can now choose production at London. We could attempt the Taj Mahal. We certainly could do with the happiness, and the culture wouldn't be a bad thing either. So let's go for the Taj Mahal. We're also going to go in here and go on to production focus, which takes it down from 17 to 16 turns, but anything helps. Now these guys I'm going to get down on this coast. They can't really do anything. I might actually move them over here. They'd actually be very useful on this hex, because they should be able to hit the city here without them being shot back at. So that could be quite useful. So we're going to take this... how many spreads do we have? Spread religion use is 2. We're actually going to spread to Kathmandu first, and then we're going to go and spread to Nottingham. We have our other cargo ship. Now I don't really want to go to Mongolia anyway, because I'm probably going to be declaring war on them very soon. Going to Madrid's a bit of a risk. We'd get a fair bit of gold from it, but we'd also be giving them science, and we'd be getting a lot of religious pressure back from them, which I'd prefer not to do. So let us start trading with the Incans. That worked out very well for us on the last game, and certainly should end up... see, there's their Great Wall. That's going to make life a little bit difficult, but that should certainly help us with things. We can see their capital now, and luckily it is actually a coastal city now. It's inside a bit of a difficult place to get to, but it is on the coast, so we can actually attack it from the water, which is good to say the least. We're going to get this caravel all nicely healed up and go on to the next turn. Well, Mongolia have moved up slightly in the scoreboards. They are now ahead of Sweden. Only just, there's only 4 points in it. You want to give me embassy open borders and gold per turn for the truffles. I'll keep going with that. I've not got a problem with it. So gold income's not too bad at the moment. Plus 105 gold per turn. That's pretty good. That's good to the point where we could just actually build a lot of the units that we need. So these workers have finished the truffles up there. So let's go and build a couple of farms. That's not a bad idea. We certainly need the food going on. We do have our great general. Not terribly convinced that I am going to need him for the fight. I'm considering purchasing a catapult or 2. Or are we on to trebuchets now? Let's just have a look. We are actually on to trebuchets, which is slightly better. So let us get a trebuchet up and running, actually. And we could also attack with the boat, because the caravel is a melee boat. So we could theoretically use that to try and take the city. It certainly has enough movement. What we could do, in fact... 1, 2... 1, 2... is we could place it here, which means it's still safe on the city. I mean, it was in range anyway, but it now means we could actually use that caravel to capture the city. And we might be able to just get its health down low enough with these longbowmen. Might give that a go, but we're going to have the trebuchet in standby definitely. So we'll move on to the next turn. Currently 15 turns away from navigation. It's a shame we couldn't steal that technology from Germany, but the thing is Germany probably doesn't have that technology. We are sort of beelining for it, so... We still don't have any culture. Oh, sorry, any tourism. Our culture's growing, but not particularly great. Not in any danger of losing to a cultural victory at the moment, but it's certainly something that could become more of a problem as the game goes on. Another 14 turns we could potentially steal from Berlin and Stockholm, which is fantastic. So we've got our trebuchet, and the good thing is if their borders don't grow too quickly, which they shouldn't, because you can't actually move into... We don't have open... no, we don't have open borders with Mongolia. But one thing that you can't do is move into somebody else's borders and then declare war, because as soon as you declare war, you get pushed out. But because this city's still quite small, we may possibly be able to get our trebuchet in position and set up and then declare war. It's a little bit cheesy, but, you know, it's just playing the game's mechanics. So we'll certainly think about doing that. Now, these guys I'd like... No, I'm not going to try and take his workers. There seems very little point. Would like to get these guys across, though. So let us do that. You guys are going to build a farm. And then we're going to move on to the next turn. And Genghis Khan is plotting against me. Thank you very much for letting me know. But Genghis Khan is about to have some troubles of his own. So he can plot against me all he likes. Somebody has founded a religion. That's Sweden. That puts them up in the scoreboard a little bit more. And it's put Genghis Khan back down to the bottom. Cargo ship, where were you going previously? You were previously going to Kathmandu, putting religious pressure on them. So I think you should carry on doing that. Don't have anything else to give orders to. Now we can actually afford another trebuchet. So it may well be worth getting one. So I think we'll purchase a trebuchet at Edinburgh. And go on to the next turn. And we're definitely going to be thinking about taking out this city. Unit needs orders. You guys are heading up to Kathmandu. Obviously, they can't get into the hex they wanted because there are some Mongolian pikemen here. So he does actually have some land units in the area, which is not particularly good. Can't quite get you guys upgraded yet. You guys are going to stay there. Hopefully he's not going to attack them. Trebuchets, you guys are going to move down to this hex here, if you can manage that. Might take a little while. But we'll keep our eye on things and see what happens. Obviously he's just moving his workers in, which aren't particularly useful. Don't want to declare war yet, though. I would like to get these trebuchets in place first, if at all possible. Now Kathmandu's cocked blocked me by putting their trebuchets next to Kathmandu. And that's a bit of a pain. Because I can't actually get to the city. So they're going to have to stay there for another turn. That was annoying. Unit needs orders. Of course, we've got this trebuchet now. We've also got this flipping boat that has appeared here. Can't do anything about that. We're going to move this trebuchet. And we are hopefully going to get it in this hex here. Now that's a trireme. I think what I will do is consider going over here and dealing with this guy. And he's already dealt with. Obviously we get quite a lot of movement on this caravel because we do have our... where is it? Oh, so it doesn't add as a promotion. Yeah, naval movement. 2 extra movement for naval units. There we go. So... we do get quite a bit of movement on that. And also one of the nice things it has is withdraw before melee. So when somebody tries to attack it in melee, there is a chance that it might move away from it and not actually take the hit, which is a useful thing indeed. You guys are going to stay there. You can't actually see the city at the moment, but you should be able to when this trebuchet gets into range, if it manages to do so. So you guys are just going to go on alert. Not too worried about his workers. They're not going to do anything. Of course, he does have these pikemen, which ideally I would like to remove. I'm also noticing here some Austrian missionaries, which we need to be careful of. Incastol machinery, not too bothered about that at the moment. So let's consider things very carefully. I guess what we could do is we could actually set our trebuchets up on here. And they probably won't get pushed out. I say probably, they might well do. You guys, oh, your workers have finished with that. What should we get you guys to do next? Probably go over here and build another farm. You guys can actually get close enough now, so let's spread religion. And that's our religion spread to Kathmandu, which is a good thing. And you can come back over here into our own territory, ready to grab that at a moment's notice. It's a little bit annoying that he's got these guys here now. And at least it looks like Austria might be using their missionaries to try and pop this place, which is good for me. You guys need to work your way over towards Nottingham. York has finished its current production of the Colosseum, which gives us a little bit more happiness, but not an awful lot. We are going to go for... what would be the best thing to have? Let's get the harbour up and running, and let's get it connected up to everything else. We can also have production at Edinburgh, because we've now finished our university. So I think what we are going to do here is go for a bank. Let's try and get ourselves some additional gold in. Now you guys aren't in a particularly great spot. But there isn't really anywhere else useful I can get you. I might work you around there behind everything else. You might just about manage it. You guys are going to set up ready for bombardment. And then you're just going to wait out the rest of the turn. You are going to heal up and wait out the rest of the turn. Okay, trebuchets have now arrived. Okay, he's actually garrisoned that unit. I'm also noticing that Austria are sending quite a lot of units this way. Okay, so they've popped their missionaries. So do have to be careful of what Austria are doing here. We have a great engineer. Now, we are essentially ready to attack here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to declare war. Now, what I should be able to do... Is that a hill? Can I not see over that hill? I'm sure you guys can see... Why can't you see the city? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. If you... cancel that. If you guys get up onto here... There we go. Now we can see. So you guys should be able to bombard from there. You guys should be able to bombard from there. You guys should be able to hit from there. And I don't think we can quite take it. No, so we're not going to attack. We're going to stay there and wait for the next turn. We've got another great general now, which is brilliant. We're going to place this great general in Edinburgh, where he's going to be fairly safe. We've got a great engineer. Now, I think what I'm actually going to do here is rush the wonder, because I'd like to get the Taj Mahal built before anybody else. So that is exactly what I am doing. We'll just sleep that other great general. You're going to stay there. And we're going to go on to the next turn and see what happens. Obviously, we take some damage. He can't do an awful lot, of course, because his pikemen can't really do any damage to us. Germany's denouncing us. Fine. Don't really care. We should now be able to finish off, hopefully, this city. So let's consider doing that. We've built the Taj Mahal. So unfortunately this one's taken a little bit of damage, but let's finish that off. So we're going to hit with that. We are going to hit with you guys. We are going to hit with you guys. That's also a little bit of a pain. I'm actually going to go here and nick his workers. Oh, I should have moved on to them. That was my stupid mistake. I actually attacked what I wanted to do. That was very silly of me. What I wanted to do was move on to them. It's not a problem, though. We can recover from that. Let us go for a bank in London. Let's get as much extra money going as possible. Now, don't really want to attack with you guys if I can help it. So we're going to put you guys on to... In fact, we're going to... Yeah. You guys just stay there and defend. These workers can move here and build another farm. You are going to go to sleep. Don't need you to do anything. Trading post. That's not a bad idea, actually. Let's build a trading post there. And let's go on to the next turn and see what happens. We've got a unit that needs orders, of course. It's these guys. So, next turn. Obviously, it does heal a little bit each turn. I'm fully expecting I'll probably lose this catapult, this trebuchet on this turn. And I did, because obviously he's got a boat in there as well, which is a little bit annoying. I am getting attacked, which is a bit of a pain. Austria wants to keep that deal going, which could mean that she doesn't plan to attack. At least not straight the way anyway. Germany's also denounced Mongolia, which is a strange thing. So we're not in a particularly strong position at the moment, although we have done a fair bit of damage to this city. So let us see if we can finish it off. This is good. We will take quite a lot of damage if we attempt to do that, so I think we will just try and stay out of it if we can. We're going to move back up here where it is nice and safe. You guys can't really do a lot, so we're just going to get you to fortify up, get a bit more defensive bonus. You guys are going to use your final spread of religion, and that should be enough to instantly pop Nottingham. And it is indeed. Got some Mongolian crossbowmen up here, of course, so we do have to be careful for those guys. He's probably got one of the biggest, or at least one of the bigger armies. Now, at least he's not going for my catapults, or my trebuchets. He's probably thinking that these guys are the ones most likely to be able to take the city in melee combat, which he would be correct. Also, where he's correct is that I can now no longer see the city, which is a bit of a pain. So, that's not the end of the world. There is still a way around this. Globe Theatre has been completed by Austria. So what we're going to do now is get rid of all this stuff that we don't need to know anything about. This trebuchet has been promoted. Now their city is on plains, so it's on open terrain. So we're going to give it accuracy, although I think it's only against units, not buildings. I'm going to move this boat around here, because that will give me the vision I need onto the city. I'm then going to pelt it with my trebuchets. I am then going to hit it with my longbowmen. And then I am going to send in the caravel, which is a costly attack, but it is enough to capture it. Now I've got options here. I could annex it because it's not a capital, so it'd become my city. I could make it into a puppet, but I've also got this option is I can raise the city. Now, we didn't have this option with Edinburgh because you cannot raise somebody else's capital. And what this will do is it will burn the city down. We're going to do that. We'll get a minor penalty from it, but it should only take a turn or two for that to get wiped out. Of course, we do have to be careful here because they still have their pikemen, but we should be able to finish them off. We've got these crossbowmen coming in on this side as well, so we need to keep our eye on them. So I'll be declaring peace with him as soon as possible. It is possible, of course, that he could take the city. which he has decided not to do, which is very good for him. So what I am going to do, there we go, the city has fallen. I am going to use my longbowmen to take these guys out instantly. My boat somehow managed to teleport over here. So we are going to go and take that worker out quickly. We can't actually move on to the worker. You can only do that with other melee units, but with other land units. But that's those workers gone. Not too sure why we took damage. Now I've got these workers here. Do I keep them or do I let them go? It's tempting to keep them, but to be honest, I don't really have an awful lot of hexes that still need upgrading. But we've got the money to spare having a few extra units on board, so let us do that. I think I am going to... I'm probably going to keep the trebuchet. Let's get it over towards Edinburgh. We'll keep the trebuchet just in case somebody else decides they are going to set up camp down here. Now we can assign delegates. Now it looks like Austria want to go for arts funding. Now it doesn't really bother me either way, so let's go for the arts funding. We've only got one vote anyway, so it doesn't really make an awful lot of difference. While they're playing the politics game, we are going to be playing the death and destruction game. So let's go on to the next turn and see how things work out. I just want to have a quick look because we know we had that crossbowman around. Ah, there they are. Not too sure what he's doing with those, but if I can take those out before the war ends, then that's a couple of units less that he's going to have. No longer friends with Kathmandu, which is a bit of a strange thing. We're going to get these guys moved around. We have enough money to actually give a gift to Kathmandu, so we're going to do that, and now we're instantly allies, which means we get the sugar from them as well as the additional faith that they are generating. London has now finished its bank. What we should probably do here is go for our Circus Maximus, which would give us 5 happiness. That's certainly not a bad idea. 2 turns away from navigation. Edinburgh is going to go for... What is Edinburgh going to go for? What do we need? Let's get a... We need another cargo ship. Thought we actually had one. Maybe we lost it. So we will get one built. Choose production. Nottingham can now produce. We do have fish here, so let's get ourselves a workboat going. We get to make a proposal again, so let us go for... No, not world religion. Arts funding has gone through. Obviously, we can see that at the top there. So let us go for... has it disappeared, or did they actually both go through? Oh, World's Fair did pass as well. Okay, no, that's fine. So they actually both went through. Let us go for... I don't know, scholars in residence. I don't really care. Okay. Unit needs orders. You are going to come back over here and heal up. And we lost our spearmen, which is a shame because I think they were actually our scouts originally, had the extra movement. So it is a bit of a shame that we lost them. But look now, we're at 14 happiness. So there's definitely some good stuff going on. Our general has arrived. He is going to sleep there. Obviously now Mongolia is at war with Kathmandu because, of course, they are now our allies. Yep, we'll keep that deal going. We'll get as much gold coming in as possible. Now, they might be running away now. So I might not actually have to do anything with them. May purchase with faith. Let's get you guys moved along here. We're going to have a look at Mongolia actually and see if we can go for peace. He's willing to do so. He's just willing for a flat peace though. Would he be willing to give us 5 gold per turn as well? No, he wouldn't. Would you be willing to give me 4 gold per turn? 3? 2? Would you be willing to give me 1 gold per turn? Okay, so just white peace. Okay, fine. Well, at least we're at peace. We've got rid of his city, and that's helped bump him a little bit further down on the scoreboards again. We've got 310 faith. So we are going to save for a great profit, because we still need to enhance our religion. So that's something that we need to think about doing. This trebuchet is just going to stay here. We'll go on to the next turn. And very, very soon we will have navigation. And then I think we need to pick on Germany. Right. Yeah, fine. Let's keep that going. He's just instantly declared peace and then wants to renew our old deals. I'm fine with that. Germany's still unhappy with us. Never mind. Coming for you next. I think I'll move these longbowmen back. Oh, good tourism output from Sweden there. We have navigation. We had a trade route plundered, actually by barbarians over here. So we need to go and deal with that. Although you're a little bit damaged, so you can't really do anything about it. You guys are going to build a farm. You guys have pretty much done all you can do, which is useful. So you could build a trading post over here, I suppose. You guys have also pretty much done everything useful there as well. So maybe we do actually have an abundance of workers at the moment. I think at this point in the game we probably do, but let's get you over here and start building some farms and whatnot. You guys can come over here to Edinburgh, where it's a little bit safer. And let's go on to the next turn. Now, of course, we need to start building ships now. I'm not too bothered about doing the World's Fair, although it would be nice to get the culture going, to be quite honest. London still has 4 turns to produce a Circus Maximus. Some people are happy with our proposal, some people aren't. It's always going to be the way with a lot of these things. Obviously, Austria is buying out a lot of allies, so we do have to be careful to a degree. We don't want to end up losing to a diplomatic victory. Cargo ship has now been finished at Edinburgh. So what we're actually going to do, we are going to... Right, could we purchase a seaport? No, because it costs 1,000. So we're going to start by... starting to build a ship of the line. And then what we will do is, as soon as we have enough money to buy a seaport, we probably will. We'll have another farm there. This cargo ship we are going to move around to London. And let's go on to the next turn. Not too bothered about the open borders. But will you give me 5 gold per turn? Yes, you will. That works out nicely. So we're not going to be too bothered about caravels. It's going to be ship of the line, which is the English unique unit that replaces the frigate. So that's our ranged unit. Very, very powerful unit. And obviously we've got the additional movement speed as well. We've lost Kathmandu there, which is a bit of a pain. We'll sort that out later. We are also going to have ourselves the privateers, which are the melee units. Very good for capturing cities. So we've stolen more technology from Germany. This time it's only steel. Well, it was the lowest level tech. There probably isn't an awful lot more we can steal from Germany, so we may have to consider moving there. We finished ship of the line. I have no idea how we completed that in a single turn. Of course, we do have a bit of a lack of iron, which is a problem. So what we're going to do is we are going to purchase a seaport, which will allow us to build ships quicker. And we are going to produce a privateer. And we are going to, in fact... I see what's happened here. I see. What's actually happened is our ship of the line was cancelled because it requires iron. And we were getting iron from Kathmandu. And we are no longer getting iron from Kathmandu. Ergo, we now lose the ability to produce the ship of the line, which is a bit of a pain. I don't really have any iron close to me except this iron here. Maybe I need to find somebody that is willing to trade with me. There probably aren't that many people willing to trade with me now. Austria's still friendly.
Grüß Gott.
But Austria doesn't actually have any resources that she'd be willing to give me. The Incans, they're still friendly. And they don't have any strategic resources either, which is a real pain. It is possible that somebody else would be willing to trade with us.
Saludos.
You don't have... Does nobody have any strategic resources? This is really the worst thing about these particular maps, is strategic resources seem really lax. Yeah, nobody seems to have any strategic resources. I think they're all pretty much owned by the city-states. So we're going to have to get ourselves friendly again with Kathmandu. Kind of wish I hadn't spent all my money on a seaport now, but we will be doing that. We're actually going to trade with Zurich. And the reason I'm going to do that is because they're kind of close and it means we won't be going anywhere where there's pirates, hopefully. So we will make our moves on the next turn and then I'll end the video there. We're 4 turns away from being able to get another cultural policy, which will be nice. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a real shame that we missed out on that iron there. I should have double checked. I wondered why we suddenly, instantly completed that that boat. Okay, so we've now got a barbarian encampment that has spawned right in the middle of our lands. That's not a problem because guess what? We have ourselves some longbowmen, so we're going to go and deal with it. We'll actually move up onto the hill and deal with them on the next turn. This caravel has now completed what its healing process, so we're going to go around the outside and see if we can find where those pirates were. We can't steal from Stockholm because we eclipsed them in technology. Germany still has the highest potential out of anybody else, so it's probably not worth trying to steal from somebody. So what I'm going to do is move you from Stockholm. And I'm actually going to put you in London on counterintelligence, stop people stealing from us. And of course I've realised I've just hit the next turn button, so we will go on to the next turn and make our moves. The good thing about the actual privateer is the melee ships don't usually require any sort of resource. Not until you get up to ironclads anyway, which of course require iron. A lot of people sort of really underrate iron. You never really need it as a strategic resource unless you are specifically planning to fight, as we are here. We're against pikemen there. That's not too much of a problem at all. London has now finished the Circus Maximus. I think what we'll do here before we do anything else is we will start working on the World's Fair. The reason we want to do that, of course, is because whoever gets the highest will get a culture increase of 100% by 20 turns. Now, our culture isn't particularly high, but that would certainly help. We also get a free social policy as well, because we get the second place, and we get a golden age. So, we get a golden age even if we put... well, you get 500 points toward a golden age, which will be enough to kick us over. And that's providing we put 175 or more production in, which we should be able to do quite easily. We're going to carry on moving this caravel around. And we see nothing, and that as far as we can move. So on the next video, we'll be taking out these barbarians. We'll hopefully be getting ourselves some iron and getting ourselves a frigate, a ship of the line or two. And we will probably then go and take out Berlin if we can. Who actually is the ally with these guys? We are friends. Where are we? Why is it not telling me? Kathmandu, let's have a look. Right, okay, they're not actually allied with anybody else, but they are still friends with us. So we could give them a small bribe, and that would be enough to make us allies. We now have iron. We can now build the ship of the line. So that's what we'll be doing in the next video. So there you go, guys. I hope you are still enjoying the series, and I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye for now.